All right, happy Friday, boys! It is a wonderful, wonderful day here on YouTube. Welcome, SgtHerbs and Zombie in the Void, aka Space Zombie. How we doing?
Hello, hello.
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Not bad. I'm happy to be burning the midnight oil with you guys, talking about some good TV shows and possibly some shitty TV shows.
I don't think it's possible. I think it's confirmed.
Confirmed.
What?
Oh, I was gonna say, and clearly we're talking about how The Boys season 3 is the bad one, and Resident Evil is the fucking perfect one, right?
Resident Evil, from what I read, is like peak television right now. It's easily the best adaptation of the zombie franchise yet. I'm reading the article right now.
10 out of 10.
I give it a 20 out of 10 right there.
Oh my god! I wish we could say we're being serious, but it's just not the case.
We're not drunk enough.
Oof, big oof, guys. Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I was not planning on, wasn't planning on talking about Resident Evil or even doing anything on it. I even forgot the show existed. I totally forgot about it, and then people were posting. I saw a bunch of the Fellowship posting about it today, and I was like, well, I guess we got to see what's this all about. We'll see if it's as bad as people are saying, and it was.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, like how many episodes we were able to make it through, and it was a struggle getting through even just one more episode of it, man. To be honest, on the episode 4 that I was watching a little bit ago, I wasn't even paying attention to that much. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Even like, well, let's save that for later. I think that's pretty juicy. Before we get into the reviews and stuff, SgtHerbs, what's going on? Tell us a little bit about you. Give people a quick shout out on your channel and what you do.
So, just recently had started streaming on Twitch, not even a month ago. It's been about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe, a little bit longer. I've been hanging out with friends, joining on their streams and stuff like that, and recently started joining you guys with Destiny, which has been a ton of fun. And so I've started streaming that as well. I do Warzone with Lethal Lightning and Mr. Insanity, so that's a weekly thing as well. Pretty soon I'm going to be making my own YouTube content. I'm just kind of like in the background working on like researching the movies that I want to go over and talk about, and it's going to be a lot of like older stuff. I'm going to be pulling from older movies, and I wouldn't say like 40s and 50s older movies, but like older movies from like pre-2010s and stuff like that. But yeah,
Okay.
so that's in the works. But yep, working on making a YouTube channel and just streaming games on YouTube, or no, streaming games on Twitch and having fun with that in the meantime.
Nice. And you hit affiliate, right?
Yep, in the first week, baby.
Boy. Hey, Mr. Insanity over on Twitch. How you doing, man? We're streaming on Twitch and YouTube tonight. So hello, everyone.
Shout out to Mr. Insanity. Yeah. First week, big shout out to Radio and Lethal Lightning for making that happen for me. They pulled together, shouted me out on their channels, and yeah, helped me get past that like 50 follower mark really fast. And yeah, it's been a fun ride. Definitely a fun ride. Yeah,
man, we're glad to have you. Thanks for coming on and talking some movies and stuff with us. So
yeah, hell yeah.
Space Zombie, what have you been up to, man?
Sorry, I was belching there for a second. Anyways.
Oh no. That's gonna be me in a couple of minutes here.
Yeah, I just finished my first drink of the night. Anywho, just been streaming when I can, really. Kind of abandoned the whole schedule I had planned and just stream when I have the time. So when it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right. You just gotta have fun. I think that's the number one thing. Like if you're streaming and not having that much fun and you feel like you're just going through the motions, that's not a good thing. You got to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, I have killed a stream that was only 20 minutes long because like I'm not having fun. I'm just not having it. So
yeah. Oh, I've done that, man. I've been there. You're just not feeling like you can like muscle through. Like, I don't know. I've even had Destiny streams where I'm just like, all I'm gonna do is the same thing over and over again. No one wants to watch that shit. But
No.
Yeah.
now that I
Granted,
got
if
you
I have
guys,
oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, now that I got you guys, Herbs and Zombie, and some new clan members who want to like get Sherpa'd through stuff, like I feel like I got a reason to be there. You know, it's really cool.
Yeah. I was hoping Ark to get through the campaigns today, and hopefully we'll get him up to where he can start playing duality with us.
Yeah, man. I told Mr. Insanity too. I was like, you know, he has the light level. Like, let's run it, man. Let's get you some gear. Let's get you some good weapons.
The guns are sick from that dungeon. Yeah,
they glow, man. They glow.
Glowies. But yeah, we tasked ourselves this week, as you could see from the title of the stream or the thumbnail in the background there. We're going to talk about The Boys season 3. Personally, I thought the first 2 seasons were pretty damn good. I know people had issues with the second, and I guess I have my gripes. But the third one was like, it was like teetering. Like it was this every time, like it was teetering on, like, I don't know if this is like woke trash or if this is like exactly what I want. Because there was moments where I thought, this is cool, this is great, and then all of a sudden there would be this weird like they'd really lean into conservatives and stuff and not quite lean into like the liberal side of things. It was really, I don't know what you guys thought, but overall I thought it was a pretty decent show.
Yeah, going through it, I especially on the third season, I did have those kind of like back and forths where I'm like, are they making fun of this, or are they actually like leading into it like it's a good thing, or what here? But going back to what I remember watching, especially in season 1 and season 2, they had their moments in season 1 where they would make fun of things, right? And it would be kind of over the top. And then in season 2, it did start to lean more into like making fun of like political things, but it was specifically aimed at the whole overuse of the Nazi thing, I think. And that's where a lot of people got, oh, you're relating that to like this side of the political aisle. We don't like that. Of course, nobody's really going to like that. But you kind of start to see in the third season, even though it's not overly apparent, it's more subtle. It seemed like they did make a bit more of an effort to make fun of both sides of the political aisle rather than just, one side.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, I think they did a little bit better with it. It's still, there are some things where I'm like, a little bit cringe, just a little bit cringe.
Yep.
But overall, I think, yeah, like Mr. Insanity says, the third season definitely feels like an upgrade from the second one. Like they did a bit better with it for sure. But yeah, there are some things with like the story specifically where I'm just like, the fuck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was everyone on episode 1, 10 minutes in.
Well, okay, so thinking about how season 2 ends, right? And then the way they start in season 1 and in the episode 1 in the third season is just like, wait, what? This is the direction you're going to go with the whole season? Really? Like, it throws you for a loop, and then it throws you for a loop again as it progresses through the next couple episodes. And you're like, oh shit.
Too.
Yeah. It I'd have to hand it to them. They did pretty good with the writing on that specifically. Like at first I found myself hating Huey, the character, because of the decisions that he made, right?
Yeah. It's kind of a bitch. He's kind of like a little whiny.
Yeah, I was getting annoyed by how much everyone just shat on him for the first 2 seasons. Like, I get like that was his whole character arc thing, but it's like, holy fuck, can we lay off the guy a little bit?
Yeah. It's the way they wrote his character specifically. And I have a feeling like if you read the comic book, it probably wouldn't be too far off from it. But again, I don't know because I haven't read the comic book yet. And that's another thing. This show really makes me want to read the comic book now because I'm like, what did they do right?
Vastly different.
Well, what did they do right and what did they do wrong? Like, what's different in the show than the comic book? Like, so, this show actually makes me want to read the comics now. But yeah, the third season I feel was pretty good overall. It was just, there's some things I'm like,
Zombie, what do you think?
I mean, so I haven't read a whole lot of the comics. I've only read a few issues here and there and a few like random panel blurbs. Mm-hmm. But like Huey, for the most part, they got his whole origin of why he joined the boys boys kept that the same with his girlfriend being destroyed by A-Train. Spoiler for season 1 if you for some reason haven't seen it and are watching this video.
Well, regardless, just so people are aware, we're going to get into spoiler territory.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hopefully not as quick as we did last week, but we're definitely going to get into spoiler territory. So beware.
Last week we were like, okay, we're not going to do spoilers for the last 2 episodes. 10 minutes later. Oh yeah, so Eddie dies.
Yeah.
Right after that. But yeah, no, overall, like it's fine. And they actually improved a lot of the things from the comics. Like, for one instance, one of the later characters, Soldier Boy, in the comics, is a guy who just walks around for propaganda and pisses himself in the comics. He does nothing of consequence. He is a pussy. In this show, he's an actual threat.
Oh, Soldier Boy? Yeah. Jensen Ackles is fucking solid, man.
Dude,
Soldier Boy.
He's the reason why I would keep watching Supernatural when I was growing up with that show. Yep. Him in this show, chef's kiss, really fucking good performance. I liked it. At that part where he's sitting on the bed after, his whole thing with the grandma nannies or whatever. Not nannies,
with the maids.
The maids, yeah. And he's smoking the joint and he's like, we're gonna need more reefer. I'm like, yes, my spirit animal.
It's really funny, that whole part. Like, so God, what's that actor's name?
The guy who plays the legend.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he plays Sam Owens in Stranger Things, the CIA.
I just finished Stranger Things, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm watching him in a completely different role. It was like, wait, this is the same guy, but like he's not. It's a totally different character. It was great. That whole this season was good. That my only gripe with it was, like, I felt they were pushing the girls to the center, like they really were focusing on Starlight in many parts and elevating her a lot, and Maeve and what was
Kimiko?
Kimiko. Yeah, like they seem to really they seem to sort of push them a little bit more, and even, like, I don't know, like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but like that was my only gripe with it. But I felt that this season was better than the second one, largely because there was like the whole crux of this season was Butcher and Huey experimenting with Temp V, which made them that made them soups for 24 hours. Like, they're supposed to be out there hunting soups down, and here they are, becoming one. And
yeah, like, the whole point of the boys was that no one should be a superpower.
Yeah. And MM brings that up too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, MM, I really liked a lot of the stuff they talked about with MM. Like, they went more into his background and why he just hates Soldier Boy, and he has like PTSD from that shit.
That
was good.
They brought into the spotlight his backstory with this season, which I really appreciate. And I know you talked about, like, focusing on the females more, but I really enjoyed the sort of background and kind of like love interest sort of like story developing between Frenchie and Kimiko as well. They spent a lot of time sort of developing everybody around Butcher and Huey with this season, which I felt like that's a good thing. It didn't feel like filler either. I mean, that one episode where they did the whole, like, musical after, like, she talks and they have the kiss, and because she lost her powers or whatever, right? But it was just like,
that was an awkward scene, but it was still kind of like adorable. It's like, okay, it's kind of cute seeing the gal who can murder anyone with her bare hands want to get into a musical. It's still kind of out of left field.
You can see them. It almost feels like they did that on purpose. Like, they wanted to play into that over the topness that they use with pretty much throughout the entire show. They always have some elements of the show or the characters that are over the top. And I think they played it pretty well. It fit into that story because you mentioned, well, remember, like, at the end, it's like it's just a picture thing or whatever that Frenchie's imagining in his head. Like, they make that appearance, so it's like, I don't know. I feel like they wrote it pretty well. I feel like they did a lot of the character writing really well with this season.
We got a little bit more. We got way more in depth, and I agree. I think that none of the side stories regarding like Frenchie or felt like bloated or like boring or anything. It definitely helped us understand the characters better, because I had the same thought in like season 1 and 2. Is like, okay, but what about Like, who is this guy? Like give me some real. And even Frenchie, to an extent, like we got a little bit regarding him in season 2, a little bit more, but I kind of wanted the nitty gritty, and we definitely got it here, which was nice.
Yeah.
In like season 1 and 2 for all they said really was like, oh, his dad died of exhaustion trying to sue Vought for some reason.
Right.
It's like, I mean, that sucks, but that's not really like a reason to go out and kill supers. Yeah. It doesn't seem like a legit reason to go out and start murdering these folks. I mean, they're bastards, but still.
And they had those like OCD tics that he had, but they didn't really explain that either. So they did a really good job with that. Like the whole moment between him and Starlight or Annie January, explaining like how the OCD started and why, and like when they're driving in the car back to like Manhattan or whatever it is they're filming the show. But that whole moment. And then him explaining the backstory to his daughter as well. You feel that kind of emotional connection. It's developing the character is what it is, and that's really what makes for a good story. It's something they probably could have done a little bit more in season 2, but I think they did a good job with it here in this new season.
Yeah, and the whole like daughter relationship he was having, kind of feeling competitive with the stepfather, I liked that too.
Yeah.
The stepfather annoyed the shit out of me,
and he knocked him the fuck out in that one episode.
My God. Yeah, when he's like, "I'm her," like he was saying, like, "I'm her father." And he's like, "Someone has to." He's like, "Oh, you should not have said that." He gets fucking decked out.
I remember that. Yeah,
fuck that guy.
Really, the best part of this season 2 was like. Or the best part of season 3 also is like a lot of times in story, like when you have bad storytelling, you introduce like elevated power to one of the characters, and there's no like repercussions for that. So if this were poorly written, it would just be people are mad, like stays mad at Butcher for taking Temp V. But there's two different things going on. There's obviously the animosity towards Butcher because he's going against the principles of the group, and this might be spoilers for people, but also there's the actual physical repercussions from taking Temp V that's like turning their brain into Swiss cheese, So there's like, and they don't know this until they've almost taken too much, and we see a side of Butcher that at first we think is, oh, this is typical, and then he sort of like redeems himself a little bit.
Knocking Huey the fuck out in a bathroom.
Well, and previously, you would see the physical changes manifest when you would take that permanent V, right? It would happen right away. But
like their spine would be popping out and shit.
Yeah, throughout the season, they gave small visual cues about the temporary V, just kind of like fucking with them, like the fluid coming from their nose or from their ear, kind of hinting at like it's fucking with their brains. And then Starlight finds that shit in the lab when she goes to get the V, and she's like, "You guys gotta stop taking this; it's gonna kill you." Like that whole scene, which last couple episodes, that was a pretty good build up, I think. And it was how would I put it? It lended really well to kind of like there was a line one of the characters said about we can't be soups, we have to show our humanity. I think it was something that Starlight says, but it really kind of gave everyone a chance to sort of show their humanity as who they are as persons, and like what they would give up to sacrifice for everybody else, which is a good character trait to, I guess, show with superhuman like characters in comics. But that it was fucked up. At first you think, oh man, Butcher's gonna fuck this all up and just kill himself and kill Huey, but he does it.
Yeah, I at first I thought, God damn, like Butcher still hasn't learned. He even like sees his brother in him, and he still is willing to sacrifice him just for his own personal gain. And like it was a really, I mean, those last like 2 episodes were beautifully done, because you do think one thing but something else happens. Again, it's like when subverting expectations goes right. That's exactly kind of like what happened in those moments. And it's like we just need more like that. And I think the small inconsistencies in the show, like I felt some things happened by convenience, but I was able to overlook them because there was like good character development happening. Like I said, like I'm always thinking, they're taking this temp V, they're becoming supers for 24 hours. There has to be something wrong. Like, it's one of the gripes I have with Stranger Things. 11 gets more and more powerful, nosebleeds, but nothing ever really happens. She does lose her powers for a little bit, but it's not like there's never brain damage. There, like I thought in season 1, after like her 3rd or 4th nosebleed, I'm like, oh, this is gonna become a problem. She's gonna use her powers too much and she's gonna die or something. Never happened. But this, like, you know, we see real consequences for taking experimental drugs to become really powerful. So bravo to the writers for really doing a good job there.
There's a lot of places where I feel like they bring in humanity and I think what you would call realisms, consequences of your actions, I guess would be the way to put it. Like the whole thing with season 2 and season 3, like how it ties together with Huey and the decision that he made in the first few episodes of season 3, where he goes through the whole year or whatever, thinking he does good, and there's that Congress woman who's also a fucking soup and blows people's heads off, and he discovers that, and he's like, the fuck have I been doing, you know?
Yeah.
You could say it blew his mind.
Figuratively. No,
I'll go back to just muting myself. I'm sorry.
No, you point out a really good pun that they wrote into the story, because she literally blows people's minds, but she blew his mind figuratively. I mean, hey. I don't know if they caught on to that, but
well, that's like, again, that was one of the best twists, like, because I didn't see that coming. Like, I don't think anyone saw that coming.
She being the head popper, yeah.
Like, I thought she was going to be like a legit,
I guess, who read the
guy.
Comics. Yeah,
I have no idea if she's in the
and
comics. I have no idea.
Well, that's the thing, is there, you know, or her equivalent or whatever. You know, I'm sure there was some, I don't know, but either way, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. And then her connection with what's his name?
Stan Edgar.
I was like, oh, this all makes sense.
Father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he has this weird connection with trying to adopt supers and then using them as weapons, essentially. Like that was just a total mindfuck. I was sitting there going, dude's more fucked up than I thought. Like, okay, that guy, I can't remember his exact name, Giancarlo
Esposito.
Yeah, Esposito. The roles that he's played have always been the most fucked up, like, types of villains that you can write for a character, and he plays them so well. And in this show specifically, he doesn't exactly play a villain. It's almost like an anti-hero kind of slash villain, but not at the same time. He's like a side character contributing to the story.
He's a cold, calculating businessman that does not care who he hurts.
Yeah, I don't know. I would consider him a villain personally, but like he's not. He's sort of a, like, to everyone else, he's a toothless villain, because he doesn't wield actual power. It's more like he can control how people look at things, and he can control the stock market, and he can, you know, like, it's a different kind of power that he wields. And
he's not the type of villain that we would expect in like a stereotypical one like Homelander plays. It's more of a sort of side villain in the story.
He's a more realistic Lex Luthor without the power suits.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's able to find people to do his dirty work while he controls the finances of those under his control.
Right.
It's like, you don't listen to me, you're not getting any money. Good fucking luck.
Right.
And I kind of do want to see the mind popper or the head popper go up against Homelander, because I really want to know if she can actually pop Homelander.
Well, that's the thing. There was a moment where she is trying to, not necessarily call his bluff, but she's standing up to him. And he's had enough of her bullshit, and he just grabs her by the throat. And I was like, this is the moment, like make his nose bleed, do it just enough.
Get in his head.
Yeah.
And she doesn't do it to him.
She does it to Starlight, though.
Yes. That confrontation with Starlight towards the end, and you see her nosebleed after she exits. Like, I was like, oh shit. That's where that Starlight's as powerful as she is, she's not as powerful as Homelander to be able to just take her on. It's pretty nuts, I would say.
Oh yeah, and I was going to say, but like, I really enjoyed the part where Soldier Boy first goes up against Homelander with Huey and Butcher. And he has to put afterwards, Homelander has to put on makeup to hide the bruises, and he actually has this scared shitless look about him. He's like, someone can finally hurt me.
Oh, well, that part where Huey and Butcher were holding them down while Soldier Boy was right in the middle, about to beam his chest ray at him. He got fucking scared and just bolts out of there. He's like, my powers are gonna get taken. I'm gonna die. I gotta get the fuck out of here. That was actually the first time that you see Homelander kind of scared. Yeah.
Well, even Maeve rubs in his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even what she says to him, which I thought was one of the best moments in the show was her basically saying I don't care if I lose my powers. I'm happy to give them up. Are you? You cannot live without your powers. You would be no one. And and that's kind of what Maeve has always just wanted, was to live life with her wife and just be somewhat normal. So if she loses her powers, no big deal. It was quite a good moment, and I thought that, and it's just another reason too why Homelander is one of the best written villains ever. Is a lot like Thanos. You understand his pain, and you sort of level with him on a human level, because Homelander's had it pretty rough. He's a sympathetic villain. His detachment from family and being raised as a lab rat, and his need for to have some sort of love and
some sort
affection,
of maternal connection.
Yeah, it's you could just see it eats away at him, and as as the season progresses, he gets more information on his past, and it totally flips the script and kind of samurais his brain again. And oh man, this season, the more we kind of talk through it, the more I'm like, yeah, this was actually pretty fucking good.
There's moments where you can see him breaking mentally.
Oh yeah.
And the interesting thing about it too is the way that they build him up in the first season, especially as this invincible character. And then the second season where you see him mentally break, where he's going psychotic. He kills the people on the plane.
Or the SWAT team at the end where he's covered in blood for the first time.
Yeah.
Where's my son?
Yeah.
They really build him up, not just as a sort of broken, sort of mentally ill man, but a psychotic man towards the second season.
He has no humanity.
Definitely towards the end of the second season. My biggest problem was with how they wrote Huey, but it makes sense with what they did in season 3 now.
Yeah.
It makes sense why they wrote him that way. I didn't like it at first, and I'm kind of at the same place too with the ending of season 3. We'll get into that in a little bit, but the way that they're doing the writing, they're setting things up for things in the future seasons to make sense. They're actually writing for a continuing TV show or a continuing TV series, which I haven't seen anything like that in a while. It's quite frankly, it's probably one of my favorite, in the terms of writing. There's other things I think could have been done better, but Yeah, I always have gripes in the moment about certain things, and then they get fixed in the next season. I just don't know what to say. I can't.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up was back to Maeve. I really liked how they brought up how the corporations exploited her whole like sexuality thing.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been saying this for months. Like, they do not give a shit about who you love. They just want to use it to get more money out of you.
Right.
And it's exactly what Vought did with Maeve and her girlfriend.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, we gotta make you like America's new favorite lesbian couple. You guys know Maeve is bisexual, right? No one gives a fuck.
Yeah. Well, it's why it really pokes fun at woke culture, because that's exactly what like corporations will do. Like, oh, we just want to celebrate so and so's, like, you know, it's our first gay star. Like, how many Pixar movies have had the first gay character? You know, it's like 2 or 3 at this point. You know, like they don't care about the character. They just they care about the label and looking cool.
You are the third, second, first gay character in our movie. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That was for you, Bublita.
There's definitely a lot of cool moments like that where they just like come out and say like, oh, we just need you for this. You know, we don't need you for anything else. And what's her name? Ashley there. Like, she takes on that like role pretty well in this
I like
series.
Ashley to an extent.
I hate her. How do you like? Oh my god!
Let me rephrase this. She's had 2 moments where she actually shows that she is still human. Like in season 2 when the girlfriend.
She had 1.
She had two. Those are the 2 moments that I liked her. The rest of the time, she's a right bastard. She'd get thrown out the window. I wouldn't care. But those 2 moments is like, that's complex actually for a human character. Like, she's just not an awful person. The first moment was in season 2, where Maeve's girlfriend / wife walks away, and then Ashley walks into Maeve like just surrounded by dudes, naked and drunk. And Maeve's like, for once in your fucking life, be a human being. I am clearly fucking heartbroken here. And Ashley goes, I'm sorry. And like,
I do remember that part.
That was a good moment for Ashley.
That was an okay moment. Come on, Zombie. That was
okay.
I'm not saying I love the character. I fucking hate her overall. But like those 2 moments is like, okay, I don't want you to die horribly. I still want you to die, but not horribly.
Okay.
The way they write her character is to be a soulless ginger, and I say that in every meaning of the word, because the way that she acts into her character and her writing for the character specifically is somebody that you wouldn't typically have sympathy on unless you have a hard-on for gingers specifically. I'm just gonna say that.
And who has hard-ons for gingers?
Are you implying something about me?
Anyways, so going back to the whole political thing, right? The thing that I appreciated most about season 3, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't give a shit about the right or the left. Do what the fuck you want. The fact that they had so for when they were trying to go after the old supers in Payback, I think it was called.
Yeah, Payback. Yeah.
There was Crimson Countess, and then there was Gunpowder. TNT Twins was last. This wasn't political. It was Gunpowder. So Crimson Countess was at the Maeve Parade roller coaster place, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Oh
my god, they had the BLM BLTs in the background.
This is funny. Okay, think about how over the top that was. And then you go to Gunpowder and think about how over the top that was. So going back to my whole point about their comedy and their jabs at things and making it over the top with their comedy, these 2 points really make it evidently clear that I don't think that they're trying to take one side or the other. At least it doesn't seem like it right now. Because they went to this effort to make fun of things on both the right and the left. I mean, you made a theme park about LGBTness. I mean,
so the counter I'll give to that was they really leaned into race this season.
With A-Train.
With A-Train, like all his even him. He's trying to like make amends, and he goes, what was it? Blue Hawk, is that his name or something like that?
Yeah, it was Blue Hawk.
He goes there, and it's the same. It was like Blue Hawk was basically just saying like conservative talking points, and then like and his brother kept bringing up race afterwards, and like he kept saying that it was just like, we get it, but like even that death was pretty brutal. And like how he did you notice how he killed him?
Cheese grated him, man.
Yeah, but like you one could even say that it's very similar to like really awful crimes of the past, like how he dragged him behind. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was like I just thought that was the part that every time A-Train was on screen and he was doing something, I thought, here it comes. It's going to be a race thing. But you know, they balanced it, but it wasn't. I don't know. I still think they're a little too woke.
No, I
overall,
agree.
I liked A-Train's story.
His story was good, but I was a little iffy on the whole politics part. They leaned a little bit too heavy with that. I mean, I get it, trying to appeal to the demographics, and it's funny because I felt like they were making jokes to themselves about like appealing to the demographic in the show, because they had moments where they were talking about that exact same shit, and then the white bitch, the ginger bitch, Ashley, was saying, "We don't give a fuck off out of here," literally saying words like that. When A-Train was trying to bring up this shit, I'm like,
yeah,
it kind of makes you wonder, like,
right.
I don't know.
Him getting Blue Hawk's heart though, that was some sinister shit right there.
That was some fucked up shit.
Like, yeah, you got the heart of the guy you were trying to make not a racist. Like, you have fun with that existential problem.
Right.
That was some fucked up shit, honestly. And when I saw that happen, I was like, what? You would do that to him, really? And you could see the look on his face. He was like sitting there like, the fuck did you just do to me? And I have to play along with it now?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I like when they even said like, "Oh, we're gonna do a movie where you're this rough and tough like gangster guy who gets trained by Tom Hanks to become a superhero." I was like, "That's not what happened."
Yeah.
Like, that's not the story at all. And they're like, "Shut the fuck up! You'll go with the story and you will like it."
Yeah.
Where's it, Mr. Insanity Bud in there? At least they got politics more balanced this season overall. It shows effort, and they're at least listening to an extent. Yeah, no, I agree. It was just I had to roll my eyes a bit on those particular moments because
that whole thing with A-Train was one of the cringe things for me specifically. Like I wouldn't disargue with that, or I wouldn't argue with that. That's what I meant to say. It does feel a little cringe.
And I mean, yeah, it's cringe, but there was a part like where his brother got hurt, and then he kind of realizes the pain that he caused other people.
Yeah,
it's like, God, I know it was bad,
dude.
What?
The commercial? Remember the commercial?
Oh yeah, that was making fun of the Pepsi commercial where they did the exact same thing
with the Kardashian chick. Yeah,
it's like that's not how that works.
Right.
Like, you would have gotten your skull kicked in with a nightstick. Shut the fuck up. Anyways. Take this Pepsi that I totally didn't tamper with, officer. Anyways. But like that whole situation happened, and then he like runs into Huey at Hero Gasm, which that was a fun episode. But like we get like those 3 seconds where like A-Train is actually sorry for killing his girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's like that was
I think he's always been sorry. I think he was
not express it.
Yeah, he's been conflicted the whole time about, you know, whether he stays like a company man or like, and I think most of it was out of fear of
Homelander.
Fear of Homelander, and I think you see at the end of this season he's fucking done, man. Like I think you're gonna see A-Train basically finally flip sides for real in season 4 because
become the black hero we all needed.
Well, hopefully. But
I think it's more so just being done with Homelander's shit. Honestly, if I look at how they've written his character all the way through, he's been conflicted and at the same time trying to put on a front of not giving a fuck. And there are some episodes where they show him doing some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And he tries to get past it, but you know he can't. So, and when it happens to his brother, that's where. So even though it had like that whole political backdrop, something personal happens to him, right?
Yeah.
So he's just like, dude, this shit's fucked up, and his brother rejects him at that point, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it really does seem like in the next season he's gonna hit a point where he's just, especially with the way that they wrote Homelander at the very last couple of minutes of season 3.
Yeah.
I don't see how he wouldn't flip sides.
That actually brings up my third moment of Ashley not being an absolute bitch. So when she goes talking to A-Train after he wakes up from the surgery, and he's getting all pissy about what happened, she's like, "Oh, so now you're mad about people getting hurt by your actions? Did you forget about the 3 murders we had to cover up that you did?"
She called him out on his shit. Yeah.
It's like I'm not defending Ashley. She's an absolute cunt, but
still a soulless ginger.
Yes, but I appreciate that moment because that was kind of a wake up call as well to Adrian. It's like, hey, guess what, Dick? You're not a hero here.
Zombie's like, but she's so tasty, though. She's so good. I mean, what a bitch.
You forgot the actually.
Oh my god.
Oh man. So I think we can get into the ending of the series. So for those who don't want to hear spoilers abroad here.
Just mute. Please keep watching. We need views.
Yeah, keep watching, but just mute for a little bit. I thought the ending of this series was great. I thought it was a perfect build up to, like, again, them Homelander acquiring Ryan again and using him as leverage against people and trying to get his way was perfect. I hate the fact that Ryan is like all about daddy now. But it makes sense. It provides motivations for season 4. And again, like anything that gets me like amped and like really hating someone, like that's again is a sign of, I think, good writing. Now, you know what I mean? Like I care. I'm invested. Yeah, I'm invested. And it was perfect. And also making Homelander the like petri dish son of Soldier Boy just makes sense. And when they reveal it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. That makes sense. Why didn't I really think of that before? Like everything was sort of built really well and fed to you in the perfect doses for us to get here. And then even the final confrontation of them in the tower, and at one point Butcher and Homelander like help each other. Like what a fucking twist that was. Like I did not see that shit coming.
They both look at each other like, are we really fucking doing this? I guess we are.
Fine. All right. Oh. And they keep seeing like every time like they like end up in the same room and he's just like scorched earth. I'm like, yes, let's fucking go. Like scorch that earth, bitch. Like, come on. Like
the scene where Homelander like showed up at his house and he's like, don't you miss the good old days, William?
Yep.
And he's like, here's the deal. We're going to fight to the death at the end.
Yep.
And they're like, all right, let's do it. And then he shows up as Soldier Boy, deals off. Damn.
Well, it was because he saw that Butcher had those fucking suit powers, right? And he's like,
no, it's because he had Soldier Boy at that time. He didn't see superpowers until after that.
Yeah.
Like a few minutes after he said that.
I think he was right about the same time. I could be remembering wrong, but
I think it was like a minute after he said deals off. Then Butcher hit him with the laser eyes. So you're probably right. I'm just arguing for arguing.
I watched it, like I binged it all the way through yesterday. So
gotcha.
Mr. Insanity said Starlight's Super Saiyan moment essentially amounted to knocking down Soldier Boy. This was a moment that was like super underwhelming for me because I thought, well, first I thought, okay, here they go. They're gonna power her up. She's gonna take him out. No need to do anything, right? But no,
basically just fucking pushes the guy back a foot.
Well, and I also thought too. I thought this is lame because so all you got to do is turn the lights up and she's fine. Like, why doesn't she do this with a fucking sun? It's the highest, like it's like the most luminescence you can get.
It's not luminescence. It's electricity. The more power
electricity.
Electricity. I thought it was.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, the more electricity in the area, the more powerful she is. So, like when she's in that cell and that emergency light is how she draws her power to escape.
It's not like photosynthesis or whatever. Fucking.
It's not Superman power. Like he gets his power from the sun.
It's the fucking electricity. Because they had flashbacks during season 1, and I think maybe season 2 they had a couple of flashbacks, but they had some flashbacks to her doing like the pageant shows and like her discovering her powers.
Season 3
it's always taken from the lights, right? around her, and the electricity always goes off in sparks and stuff. So it hints at her. It's a visual cue that hints at her like taking her power from electricity specifically, which is weird. It's almost like they want to make her like a fucking female Nikola Tesla or some shit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Electro, but that works too.
Well, Nikola Tesla is the first scientist who discovered electricity.
Right.
Benjamin Franklin discovered like the effects of electricity, but it was Nikola Tesla that discovered how to harness it. Thomas Jefferson can go to shit in the fucking bin. He stole it from Tesla.
Thomas Edison, you mean? You said Thomas
Edison.
You said Jefferson.
I know. I said Jefferson. Yeah,
you heard it here,
Edison.
folks. Jefferson can eat shit.
I meant Edison. But yeah, he can eat shit. Tesla is the one that discovered like how to harness electricity. Fucking
Edison just stole like everyone's inventions that he came across.
Yeah. If you notice, Huey still has one dose of Tempe at the end of the season, and he doesn't use it. No, Mr. Insanity is right. He picks up a dose of Temp V at the end of the season, like the last episode or whatever. He picks it up, and there's little moments where he's like looking at it and is like, "Oh, I could use this," but then looks away to something else. That's where he made the decision to turn up the electricity for the lights for Starlight.
Right.
He chose that instead of taking the Temp V. I mean, that's a good prediction. Like, it could happen that way, or it could be Huey takes it and dies. We don't know. It
not,
could
though.
be Butcher or Huey.
I hope not, because it would kind of ruin his arc, like his arc of like with him and Starlight. Like, he didn't take it then because it's not what she would have wanted, and he wants to live, and he wants to he's kept a lot of secrets from her. So
whereas Butcher's kind of like a self-sacrificing sort of guy, like he has nothing to live for.
Yeah. Well, and like, so like they had sort of reconciled in like understanding like Huey did not need to save her. And in turning up the lights, it allowed her to save herself and others around her. So I think, I mean, if anything's going to happen, I could see maybe Butcher grabbing that. It seems like, I don't know if they would like pull that thread that far, because it would have to be like in the finale for something like that to happen.
Right. I mean, Butcher only has like a few months left to live, doesn't he? After all this?
It was something like 12 to 18 months at the end of the episode. Remember, he's in the doctor's office,
right?
And the doctor's telling him, like, we drained all the fluid, but you still only have like this amount of time to live. And it's like, I remember it being 12 to 18 months. And he said, "Will you kindly fuck off then?" Right. He's smoking a cigarette in a hospital. Yeah, he's smoking a cigarette in a hospital, and he said, "Will you kindly fuck off then?" One of the things that I love about Karl Urban, with Aussies and New Zealanders, they don't give a fucking shit where they're at. Here in America, like, you can't smoke a cigarette in a fucking hospital. That's some like taboo shit now. But over there, like, you could probably still pull that shit in some like country bumpkin ass areas. But
even if not, like, just how he carries himself is just super badass.
It's like, if you stop him, he's gonna break your damn nose. Like, just back off.
Yeah. I still need to watch him with Judge Dredd. I have not seen that movie
so
yet.
Good with Dredd, dude.
Yeah.
I hear that's one of his best roles is Judge Dredd. But
if you want to see one of his not so great roles, he also stars in the Doom movie, the old one with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, I think I remember seeing that a long time ago.
He also plays a shittier version of Bones in the Kurtz Trek, or what's his name? Kurtzman Trek.
Shittier version of Bones?
So
in the J.J. Abrams movies.
In the J.J. Abrams movies. I say Kurtzman because I hate him more than Abrams. But in the new rebooted Star Trek trailer, he plays McCoy, what the fuck? Why can't I think? He's the doctor on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Jack took too much temp fees, kind of having an aneurysm.
Right. DeForest Kelly is the only Bones out there. Come on now. It's the best one.
Yeah, no. Urban has a lot of good roles, and I like him in a lot of his movies.
Yeah.
Oh, well, as much as we've talked about like all the story developments of the different characters, and we've talked about these different people, we haven't talked about Jensen Ackles
Oh man,
a whole
yeah,
lot.
Oh, I have things to say
killed
about
it.
Soldier Boy.
Jensen Ackles, come on! Like I've only ever seen him in Supernatural. Really, I haven't seen him in any movies that he's done or whatever, or like any other projects he's done. But dude, Jensen Ackles, and where he comes into play in season 3 here, and then his performance that he delivers, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
curious to hear what you guys think.
I really was glad to see Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, because like I said before, in the comics, Soldier Boy, there was 3 versions of Soldier Boy in the comics. One during World War II that they don't ever talk about, like you see a picture or 2 of him and that's it. Another one that died like a moron. I can't remember how he died, but it was just ridiculous. And then the other guy who's just this pasty ass bitch boy who pisses himself at the slightest mention of conflict. He's such a coward. So they instead made him this undying Captain America-esque, doesn't give a shit about your feelings soldier guy.
Yeah.
I was like, that's better. And like people have said that they've improved a lot of characters from the comics, which I haven't read the full series to know for sure though.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list to get because I wanna read them now. But as far as Soldier Boy goes, and I was skeptical at first because I thought I've only seen him in Supernatural, which I really liked him in, but it was just a different role. You know, like I was like, if this is gonna work, he's got to be pretty badass, and he was, man. He like every line he delivered was spot on. Like you could just like he was like essentially the Captain America figure, but he wasn't the hero that Captain America is, right? And even to an extent was kind of a pussy because he didn't actually storm Normandy. He
stormed it 2 weeks after.
Right, he was there after, and he even acknowledges that in the final moments, like when he basically calls Homelander a disappointment and a pussy, and Homelander's like, well, that's you. He's like, yeah, but I would have raised you better because to not be like me, you know. And I just thought that that's fucking like icing on the cake is perfect, like how that's delivered, because he comes off as this strong, you know, emotionless, very stoic, but you could tell he's like super flawed and he understands that, but he's uber powerful too. Like, and that's the other thing they didn't really explain was sort of like his power that takes other people's powers away. I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
From what I understand is he somehow gained it from the Russians because he didn't have it before that.
Right.
And then
that's what I got.
He said they tested on being, I think they expose him to more compound V, or maybe they have an altered version of it because Russians. But then he suddenly gains the ability to take away Super's powers, which that's scary.
The way that they explain it in the story, from what I remember, is the fact that they pumped him full of like radiation, and they pumped him full of the chemicals that Russia has available.
Yeah,
it sort of somehow like mixtured with the compound V that was already in his system.
Right, so kind of mutated him in a sense.
It mutated him to the point where if he would like use his power, it would basically obliterate everybody else around him. Not just obliterating humans, but obliterating Supes to the point where they couldn't have their powers anymore. Because if you remember Kimiko, when she was first attacked, when they let Soldier Boy out of the fucking tank, right?
Yeah.
She had the rebar pushed into her stomach, and it wasn't healing. Frenchie was saying, "Oh, it's not healing. It's not healing." They tried to get to her to the hospital. That's where MM said, "You're not the fucking person I thought you were." And then when Kimiko was in the hospital, she was saying, "Oh, I don't have my powers back. Oh, I can finally talk." All those scenes happened because of that part, right? And they had happened to write that also with the Hero Gasm episode. The Supes that survived didn't have their powers anymore. It was a line that was said passively by the genderless. I say genderless because she took off her wig, right?
Oh yeah,
that was rough.
I
cool.
say that, but fucking that ginger bitch, Ashley, had mentioned it in passing to some character. She said like, "Oh, no fucking powers anymore."
Yeah, like 13 hero, like 12 heroes were killed, and 13 of them just didn't have powers anymore. Like they were powerless, they were useless.
When they were
Burns it out of
talking,
their genes.
when they were talking about Herogasm, yeah, as an incident, and fucking shit, dude. It kind of lends to, so when you talk about foreshadowing and when you talk about writing that lends to like things that happened in the past, one of the things that the show does pretty well, I feel like, is the writing that ties back into previous seasons and the writing that ties into future seasons. It has that foreshadowing. There's going to be a moment. I don't want to try to fucking predict things here, but there's going to be a moment where the power that Soldier Boy has comes into play. Could wipe out everybody's powers. They could try to write that into like a season finale, and they figure out some way to play into it with the temporary V, right? But yeah, exactly, Shags. It's all it could. Like, I'm just guessing at this point, but
I fully expect Soldier Boy to make a comeback because like they show he's not dead.
The way they write it, yeah,
like
the way they write it.
Like if they make him just a one-off villain, like that's a lot of effort and money and time to put into a goddamn one-off villain.
I don't think he's a one-off villain, though.
I hope not. I really
think
hope not.
I really think that they're trying to write him as like a main character.
I think he's going to come back in either. I don't know how many seasons they have left, but I could definitely see him coming back in whatever season finale. Like they bring him back as like a last resort to finally wipe out Homelander's abilities, and then Butcher just beats the fuck out of Homelander with a crowbar.
Yeah, they're definitely going to bring him back. He's not done. And to explain, for those listening and who don't mind spoilers, there's a moment at the end where he's basically trying to kill like multiple people in the room, namely Starlight, but Maeve ends up grabbing him and throwing themselves out the window at the top floors of Vought, and he explodes. So Maeve is left without her powers, and then they basically recapture Soldier Boy and put him in the tank, because they are able to somewhat subdue him, but it causes him to freak out and like go into like super, like his own little Super Saiyan mode.
Yeah.
So that was like another moment. I was like, wait, I thought this was supposed to make him pass out, but I guess he's just fighting it at that point, since it's just a, just a quick concoction that Frenchie makes down in the basement.
Right. Yeah, he saw what they made. He's like, I'm not going back in that box, and he starts having PTSD about it. Yeah, and that's when he starts glowing all red and shit. And well, they all freak out because everyone in that room is going to die if he goes off, including Ryan and Butcher and Huey, everyone. Right. So Maeve tackles him out the window. Boom. And we're to assume they've both been blown to bits. Then in the last minute of the episode, it's shown that, Maeve's still alive. I mean, she's beaten to hell and missing an eyeball, but she's fine. Yeah. She can walk that off. Soldier Boy's fine too.
The 2 seasons max at the pace they're going, I hope this is the case. This is a show I don't want to see run beyond its like allotted time, because they'll ruin it. And I think one of the reasons that shows get ruined is because they'll complete a character's arc, and then all of a sudden they'll contrive something else and like either regress the character. Like you see that with a lot of the MCU characters. Like they completed their arc, and the only way to do phase 4 was to make them stupid and retarded again. Whereas this is like, I hope, I don't care if Butcher dies. Like, if anything, I see him dying, like sacrificing himself, and Ryan realizing like Homelander's a really, really bad person, and he's not a role model. And then, that's kind of able to carry on his legacy. But in the final moments of that episode, you see Ryan get power hungry, when his I mean, Homelander legitimately like blows, like lasers a guy's head off who's just making fun of him in a crowd, and the crowd cheers it. And he's like, what? Like, people like this? And what's his name? The stepdad is sitting there like, oh yeah, like, let's go.
Yeah, remember,
I felt like the stepdad was gonna boner from that, man, the way he was acting.
Remember, it started with the fucking stepdad.
Yeah.
I just like that stepdad. They wrote him to be a bastard, and they wrote that well.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they did write him well, but I don't fucking like the stepdad at all. I don't like him as a likable character. Okay, I think that's why he wrote. They wrote the character the way they did. They wrote him to be an unlikable character.
Yeah.
One character we wanted to get decked, and we did.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Zombie, are you wanting to be decked? Because I throw a mean punch.
Nah, I'm good. I got enough damage.
Let's find out.
Hell no, that's too expensive. I just go down the street and tell someone to deck me. That's cheaper.
It's true.
Anywho, I wanted to talk about something you said earlier. You were saying like you weren't liking how Ryan was all daddy all of a sudden, like siding with Homelander.
Yeah,
I thought that the main turning point of that was when like Butcher was trying to distance himself from everybody when he started taking that temporary V, and he kind of lashes out at Ryan and blames him for Becky's death.
Yeah,
and then Homelander shows up. He's like, that wasn't your fault, right?
Right.
And like you see it on Ryan's face, like he needed to hear that.
Right. No, it's beautifully written. Like it makes sense how he in as far as like he reacts the way I think he should react. It just doesn't make me happy because I wanted Ryan to be like this pure, like he will fight against his dad. He sees his dad as evil. I mean, the guy kicked him off the fucking roof of the house.
That was unintentionally funny to me. He's like, and you're gonna fly, shove. Ah! You just stick around.
But again, it's good writing because that whole thing, like it makes me mad. It makes me angry. Like I'm invested in Ryan because I see like my own boys in him, and I'm like, don't corrupt this kid. He is good. He is a good person or can be a good person. But Homelander doesn't care about that. Even in his moments of humanity, he doesn't care. He's all in it. He's in it for himself. He's very self-centered. He doesn't care who gets killed in the process, who gets hurt. He makes that very, very clear.
Right.
But again, it's what makes him great.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking is like Ryan's gonna be kind of like fighting over that line. Like what is the line he has to draw in the sand that he won't cross throughout season 4? And then season 5, like you said, Butcher's gonna probably sacrifice himself trying to stop Homelander from either killing someone like one of his group. Yep. And that's gonna flip the switch on Ryan and be like, oh, this is a bad idea. I can't be here. I can't be with this guy.
Yeah.
And that's where he has to take a stand against his dad. Probably gets his ass kicked, or hopefully he just bewilders Homelander enough to leave them alone, and then he eventually grows up to fight his dad. Which I don't know how they're going to do that in 2 seasons.
Right. Well, there's no saying that there is 2 seasons. I was merely agreeing with Mr. Insanity, saying like if they go beyond that, it's.
Well, I mean, Butcher only has 18 to 20, like 12 to 18 months. Like they could write that out within like 2 seasons max, time wise.
Well, Mr. Insanity says, "What if Soldier Boy comes back? Soldier Boy tries to kill Ryan. Homelander blocks it and loses power. Then Butcher kills Soldier Boy. So then what? Okay, so that's an interesting theory. So if that's how it works, Butcher would likely die in that exchange as well, but he's more giving up. So Homelander is giving up his power to be a normal dad. Butcher realizes he's not going to be that person because he's just too much like his dad, and then they sort of ride off in the sunset. That would be interesting. Or Homelander and Butcher fight it out without powers in the end. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see that, but it would be interesting.
It would be pretty cool seeing Butcher still get his ass kicked by a guy who doesn't have powers. But I mean, then again,
I think at that point, Butcher would have to win. I don't think they would kill him off there, or he would just succumb to his injuries from his brain.
Right, and another thing is also Homelander. I don't think he actually has like any sort of fighting form. I mean, when you're invincible, why study any sort of fighting form? Right. You could just flick a person through a building.
Yeah.
So if they do have to fight depowered, I think Butcher would absolutely just like break every bone in Homelander's body.
Well, yeah, because he knows how to fight without powers anyway. Homelander would just he relies fully on his strength and to overcome people. So the technical part of fighting would probably be beyond him.
Yeah, and I mean, if Homelander does lose, like if he is killed, I could see Ryan like not going with Butcher. He'd have a growing hatred of him because he killed his actual father. It's like he killed his own mother, and now his father, who tried to raise him awfully, is now dead at the foot of this man who treated him like shit.
Right. Yeah, man, it's this show really made me think this year and how, or this season, and it I hope there's some interesting predictions as far as next season goes. I think we're all kind of like, we're ready for this to sort of come to a close, and I think we'll see this sort of start to like dip a little bit. But I want this to end in a good way. I want it to end. I don't know how to say it.
I don't want a full happy ending. They lived happily ever after, but I want a decent ending to this series.
Right. No, I think you'll see that happen. I don't think it's going to end in a mostly happy way. This is not a show that does that. People are going to die. I think you're going to see a lot of you'll probably lose a couple of the boys, if not at least Kamiko and I thought like maybe Kamiko and Frenchie, or Frenchie and MM or something. I don't know. It's hard to say, and I don't even know if I necessarily see Starlight and Huey ending in a happy manner either. So
I 100% believe that Frenchie will die.
Yeah,
but I feel like it's going to be like Kimiko is going to feel like she failed to protect him or something, and she just kind of just falls apart mentally from that.
Yeah,
because like you see like how close they get, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Mr. Insane said, I would bet Butcher and Ryan could have a form of resolution before Butcher and Homelander fight. I see it. I see it happening in the closing moments of Butcher's life. And that's why I thought, like, one of my initial thoughts through this conversation was that if Homelander loses his power, maybe Butcher realizes he's not the role model he could be, and he's not fit to be his dad. But Ryan sees that his dad is probably like Homelander without his powers might be the person to actually raise him. He's just more of a power hungry guy because he's able to. I don't know. It's hard to say where it would go, because that would still be a dark turn, not really knowing how would Homelander operate as a normal human? Would he still have his sort of psychotic tendencies, or would he be more of a normie and actually raise his son to be a decent human?
I feel like if Homelander lost his powers, he would just be mentally broken. Because who is he now? Because you see his split personality in the mirror scenes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or he does have an innocent, scared side.
Yeah.
That's still a little kid. And I like they kind of showed it when he was on the news show and Starlight's is next to him after he did the whole fake "we're a thing" announcement. Yep. And he pats her on the arm. He's like, "I'm really glad you're here." And that was genuine. He was happy that she was there, because in the back of his mind, he actually has some affection towards her. That's buried underneath all the psychotic tendencies of his other side.
Right.
And like you said, he's a sympathetic villain. I don't condone it, but I understand.
Right. Yeah. Mr. Sandy said, also Homelander dies at the White House in the comics, and they got a setup to go to the White House. This is true. Head Popper Lady is now going to be the VP. So it's pretty sweet. I like the direction we're going. We're going into unknown territory at this point. I don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening with Butcher. I hope, and this is the thing, these studios will do this where someone's slated to die, they get a year or just a little over a year to live, and then all of a sudden they're magically cured. I hope they don't pull that where it's done off screen, where it's oh, I just did this and I was able to Or like, no, that's not good. Like we need to see
this Pilates.
Yeah, this is important, is that they need to, like, now his motivation is to complete his mission to kill Homelander before he dies. Like, that's the motivation. That's the time bomb that's counting down for Butcher. So they need to honor that. They can't cure him off screen. It will ruin this show.
Very much.
Does this stuff work on StreamYard? What stuff are you asking about?
I feel like he's redeeming stuff.
Oh, no, yeah.
Redeemed timeout.
Who's he timing out?
Sergeant Herbs, who's at the bathroom.
With this series, I don't think they would do plot armor on Butch. I hope not. But, you know, because the show we're going to get into next loves plot armor.
God.
While Herbs is away, yes, I did want to bring up the fact that Ripa is hit $2.1 million on
Dollar dues.
Yes. Did we get a raid? Did Trey 50 Daniel raid us? I should have this up, and I don't. I feel really
Yes, he
bad.
did. He's raiding with a party of 2.
Thank you, Trey. We are live on YouTube and on Twitch, so I'm trying to do both, and I screwed up, guys. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me. We're talking The Boys. We're about to switch over and start talking Resident Evil because reasons.
You know,
yeah,
because we wanted to add a little shit sprinkles to your amazing steak. That was season 3 of The Boys.
But shout outs to the Ripaverse, to Eric July. His campaign within the first 4 days has hit $2 million, over $2 million. Almost 23,000 products purchased from him. So people are essentially spending just over $90 a person for all of his stuff. Like I've never seen anything like this with comics. Never, ever,
My
ever.
next paycheck, I'm going to pre-order a few comics for sure.
Yeah, it's like people should be out there supporting him and giving him some love. I just released a video today that from my stream the other night talking about it. But yeah, ripaverse.com. Get over there and show him some support for show.
Right. And one last thing I wanted to say about The Boys was you're trying to figure out who the guy who plays the Legend was. His name is Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser, that's right. Yeah.
And I liked him as the Legend. He was very, very enjoyable as the Legend.
Yep.
Oh, right. During the show. Okay.
Yeah.
Paul Reiser. He was very good.
The Legend in the comics was very odd. He was definitely a more like Stan Lee parody. And in the comics, he has a kid with Maeve.
Right.
Yeah, it's odd. But yeah, no, I really liked how they made him like an ex-Hollywood producer guy who just sat there and like was just doing coke, like it was no big deal.
It's
He's
awesome.
like, "You want some coke?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm full already of.
I'm full of coke. I'm full already of cocaine. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did like Huey's awkwardness, or when like Maeve at the end of the show, he was like, "Oh hey Maeve, how you doing?" It's like, God, as soon as you walk in the room, it's like wearing a t-shirt that screams, "I'm bottom." Like, damn, girl. Chill.
I did want to move into Resident Evil because we're getting long in the tooth with this one, but I did want to talk about.
So how much of it did you watch again?
I got through 2.5 episodes and I had to stop. My brain hurt. The choices that some of these characters made were absolutely fucking bananas. The dialogue at times was absolutely bananas. All I kept saying was, why? Why did you just do that? What are you doing? Where are you going? What? Why do this? What is the point of this? I have like, let me. I only wrote notes for episode 2 and a little bit of episode 3, but like
you wrote notes.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
I was sitting there writing like, what is going on here?
Oh my God, Shags! Why did you put yourself through that torture?
Because I didn't want to forget. I didn't want to forget how bad it was.
Yeah, I can get that. I can get that.
Repeat what I sent you earlier in the day, Shad.
Please do. Zombie had the best, like, it was the best one-liner to describe how awful this show is. Go ahead.
Right. So from what I've seen, which I've only seen like a few random clips, like 2 to 5 minute clips and like screen grabs of some of the dialogue, which it was so
Hold on,
divine.
Zombie, you're roboting.
Yeah.
Roboting.
You sound like this. You sound like
You're roboting.
Is this better? Am I good now?
Keep talking.
Okay. How about now? Like,
Seems a little
okay?
A little better.
okay.
A little better.
Sorry, I let me clear my throat a little bit. I had some phlegm back in my throat. Yeah, it was static flavor. Anyways, so from what I've seen, this looks what? Am I still roboting?
Oh yeah, you are. You want me to read your quote?
No.
I'm
gonna close Discord. I'm gonna read my phone instead.
Send it to
Discord
Shags
takes
and let him read it. Oh my god.
It's already in the DMs. I'm fine, you jerk.
He did slide into my DMs. I have it right here. If he wants me to read it, I will.
No. I got it. All right, am I good?
Art of the Roll. Hold on one second. Art of the Roll. I did take notes. I do plan on writing a review. I was going to break down some of the episodes and talk about them because I could not believe what I was actually seeing.
So bad. It's so bad.
Okay, Zombie, try again.
Okay. Is it good so far?
So far, we're looking good.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
better.
So, from what I have seen of this show, which has been screen grabs and random clips of the god awful scenes, this looks like this was a scrapped script for some other generic zombie show that Capcom picked up for like $5 and gave it to a crackhead writer with a list of character names they wanted to see in the revisions.
I wish you didn't have to read it like that, but yes, I agree. Yes.
Also, you guys got a bot. You guys got a bot in the Twitch chat.
Oh no,
I'm
I want
totally
to buy
okay.
followers. I want to be famous, guys. Jeez.
I'm sorry. I'm totally okay.
Yeah,
Dude, it was
mod herbs or Trey.
That perfectly sums up. It really seems like, and I think who else? It was Abomination AJ had replied to one of my tweets about it, and he said that he was like, there is very little about the like Resident Evil was an afterthought in this whole show. Like it's like they wrote a zombie movie, but then we're like, oh, I remember like Resident Evil was a thing back in the day. Like maybe we should put some Resident Evil references. I mean, Wesker's a black guy now. Like you can't even get the like main guy right.
Yeah, and apparently this show takes place after Village, the latest game. Yeah. It's like, so you're saying 8 games in the past he was white, then he just got a skin transfer?
They said it's Raccoon City 2.0. This is after the Raccoon City incident.
Yeah, no, they like people like the writers are like, oh yeah, this takes place after Village. Like this is like timeline wise after Village.
Yeah, but they reference Raccoon City.
Right, yeah.
Incident.
Yeah. So it's canon, but not really.
It's a mess, is what it is. Like it is. I don't understand why anyone put their name on this.
Wasn't there a scene where like one of the scientists was sitting down, looking dead? They call her name, and started dancing around.
I didn't see that. That didn't happen yet, from what I saw. I saw that clip. But I haven't seen it yet. There's just like the first episode. It introduces you to Albert Wesker, who's played by Lance Reddick, who voices Zavala in Destiny. Indeed. It was.
Indeed.
And then you're introduced to his twin daughters. One is a pretty young black girl, and the other one's a pretty young. I can't really tell, like Indian, Middle Eastern, Spanish type mix. Both pretty girls. One is like a tomboyish, like Billie Eilish type girl, and then the other one is just this. She sounds like Space Zombie. All she does is say "fuck." Like anytime she's mad, fuck. And I'm like, can you stop?
You're talking about the RU show? Yes.
I get the message, Shags. Damn.
There was yeah, lots of
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's true though.
Where's yep, okay, hold on. Let me guys carry Herbs,
Okay.
I gotta do something real quick.
Yeah, no, Herb saw
Okay.
a lot more of the show, so please carry on.
I don't want to talk about this show, but the unfortunate thing about this show is the feelings that I got from it. Okay, not Disney Plus, but the Disney Channel show that we would get those like humorous TV shows from. It felt like an attempt at one of those Disney Channel zombie horror shows. Like they tried to go for Disney Channel, but zombie horror with the
I know
teenagers.
exactly what you're talking about. Like Girl
Okay,
versus Monster, Wizards of Waverly Place, the newest Zombies high school trilogy that Disney's been releasing. Apparently, it's awful.
I don't know about all that, but that's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah, like
Just
Disney
from like what I
sitcoms.
used to watch back in like 2000s, mid 2000s, whatever. The shit that you would get with the show, the story writing and the cinematography shit, it felt exactly like a Disney Channel show. I have the power. Insanity is right. Yeah.
Herbs is starting to taste the whiskey.
Anyway, anyways, what the show fucking felt like. Okay, as I'm watching through it, the flashbacks that you get, the show you would have the current events, right? And then you'd flash back to like the teenage years of the main character and her sister or whatever, her twin
Yep.
sister. You'd go to that and fucking it felt like a fucking Disney show, man. I was so bored.
It was so
bored.
It was so disconnected because when they usually flash back to events in like the past, it usually is somehow connected to what's happening in the future. That wasn't the case at all, and it felt like they didn't really know how to tell the story of both timelines. But it was like you needed to know like what was happening to them when they were younger, and now they are separated and disconnected from each other. And you need to know like they're working back to the point where they meet again, and it's just a mess. It's just things happen for insane reasons. Like I said, like they make decisions that don't make any sense at the end of the first episode. Her name is Jade. Jade's the main character. She's trying to escape.
Disgrace to the name Jade.
She's trying to escape from Umbrella, who's hunting her down, and she's on top of this like fortress. In the dark, she runs off the edge to escape Umbrella, and jumps towards a zombie horde. Falls about 3 stories onto a metal box truck. Doesn't break her legs or anything like you probably normally would. And then, not having a plan, she panics and runs back towards the place she just jumped away from and hides. And then a guy comes busting through the door in a truck, runs people down, runs a bunch of zombies down. She gets on top of the truck. They pull away, and again, they're going like 50 down the road, and she's hanging on to the top. The guy doesn't stop. Instead, what happens? They come up to this like barricade. There's a bunch of metal pipes, spiky pipes on the top.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, almost completely rips her head off, but stops just before she does. And then
just before.
He gets out and holds her at gunpoint and is like, "What are you doing? You can't." I'm like, "What is happening? You just saved her life, and all of a sudden you want to kill her, and you don't know why you say."
And literally 2 fucking seconds after that, right, gets eaten by zombies.
Yeah, the guy gets eaten. Like, okay, what's the point of this whole thing? There's little to no reason that anything happens in this show. And again, in Wesker, so far is a bit of a bitch. He lets his daughter walk all over him. And he's conducting experiments in in the basement of his house with an infected rat, and
Dude,
it breaks out.
It's not just
Shocker.
that, but he is taking the blood of his own daughters and injecting it into him.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, they're setting that up where he's like, I think he's infected, and the only way he's keeping it back is injecting the healthy blood of his daughters into his veins, and I'm sure it's going to come. I'm sure it's going to come bite him in the ass at some point.
Literally.
What they're writing right now is, at least what I've seen, what they're writing right now, his one daughter, whatever the fuck her name is, she succumbs to the zombiness, and her fucking zombiness doesn't allow him to take the blood from her. He can't. What is it called? Come on, chat, help me up. He can't take the blood from her anymore to be able to stave off that resistance.
Yeah,
It's
He can't harvest his immunity.
it's kind of fucked up. He can't harvest it anymore. Art of the
And-
Roll.
Oh,
Rest
and there
in
was, yeah, Art of the Roll. I hope you feel better, man. There was a part. This was
Plenty
hilarious.
of rest, man.
This was hilarious. She goes,
Rana's gonna beat the crap out of me.
"Oh, she's the what? So the girls, one of his daughters is a fucking vegan. One of his daughters is a vegan.
It's the
So-
one that gets infected, dude.
Yeah, well, she discovers that they're doing something with rabbits, and apparently Umbrella does an experiment on animals. So they come up with this secret mission to go into the Umbrella and take pictures and expose them online. But what happens is they get a little too curious and let out one of the zombie dogs. She gets bit by the zombie dog. So a few hours later, she's laying in bed, and she says, the dad says, "Well, you're sick. You just got to like stay here." And she goes, "Will I have to quarantine?" And it's Reddit.
No,
goes,
this isn't
"No,
like
it's not
COVID."
like COVID. Fucking, who's writing this garbage, man?
Well, they're saying,
So
great,
fucking
COVID's and Resident Evil.
So fucking stupid, man. So
Bad.
stupid. Oh my god.
It's very, very bad. Do not do anything but waste your time on watching this show. Let people like me suffer so you don't have to. I am happy to go through these shows and watch them. Like I said, I have 2 pages of notes that I plan on recording and talking more in depth on how bad it is. It's just, I can't believe this made it out of the writing room. There's nothing to do. It's by name only. It's a loose affiliation with Umbrella. It's it's just bad, guys. Don't do it.
I think it's really funny how was it 2 weeks ago? It was last week we were praising Netflix for releasing Stranger Things 4, how good that writing is, and then this comes out a week later, and it's like, what's going on? Did you guys flip a coin? It's like, all right, this week we're going to be shit, this week we're going to be great, and then next week we're going to be absolute shit.
It was, and I actually thought that very same thing. I said, we were just praising them for.
All right, just pressing on need alcohol. I understand your pain, Mr. Insanity.
What was I saying? I understand. I can't believe we had Love, Death, and Zombie, or what is it? Love, Death, and Robots. And we have things like Stranger Things 4, and then this comes out. What are you doing? What? I don't know. There's no. I mean,
this is the first garbage tier Netflix show to come out.
No, it's comically bad, man. It's so bad that, again, I don't understand. I care nothing for any of these people in this show. I don't care what they do.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, you ever heard of the production company known as The Asylum?
No.
Have you ever heard of what was it that they made this Walking Dead knockoff show called Zombie Country or something?
Never saw it.
But anyways, so they specialize in making mockbusters, like they make movies that are very similar to popular movies, enough to trick you into buying their movie.
Right.
So, like, instead of Pacific Rim, they made Atlantic Rim. Instead of Transformers, it was Transmoggers.
That's funny.
And well,
they made disgusting.
Well, it's a business that they do, and I absolutely
sounds disgusting.
They're the guys who made the Sharknado movies.
That sounds disgusting.
Seeing the scenes of Resident Evil, it felt like a production from The Asylum.
Yeah,
like
I don't buy it.
It feels like it's supposed to be a parody of Resident Evil, or like
I don't fucking buy it.
Okay,
I'm sorry. That's just me. I don't fucking buy it.
What don't you buy? Like, what you not getting here? Z Nation, that's the show. That's the show they made. It was on Sci-Fi for a while, but then it came on Netflix, and then they made the prequel series Black Summer.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Z Nation was made as Black Summer was like in the first months of the zombie apocalypse, people dealing with it, and it was not half bad actually. But anyways, Z Nation was made by the Asylum, which they specialize in making movies to rip off other movies. That is their whole thing.
You can do that. Okay, if the creators are listening to this, you can do that. You can fucking do that. But the name?
Get my game's name out of your fucking mouth, to quote Will Smith.
No, not even what you said. It's not good.
Mr. Insanity, I don't believe that there hasn't been a season 2 announced yet.
I mean, it just came out yesterday, so
yeah, but
give it a few weeks.
Yeah, I don't. God, see, the thing was there was actually a really good moment in this show, and it was like the only moment I thought, wow, that looks really good. There's a right when you first meet like adult Jade, there's a moment where she's being chased by a horde of zombies, and she has to set off her fire like perimeter, and it burns them all alive, and then the flame the extinguishers go off. It's this red powder, and the color scheme that was happening on screen was really good. Like you remember, well, that's not a great film, but The Last Jedi in that scene in like that desert, it's like a salt flat, but then they run across and it turns red. Like the contrast that was there was really beautiful. And in this, it was like this muted gray blue in the background, and then this red powder everywhere, and it looked really good. Like it was an awesome shot. And then everything after that was just bad. Right after that, this giant caterpillar comes out of the ground and then suplexes her onto a car, the hood of a car, and she smashes her skull on the on the windshield. She's fine, just a mild concussion is all. Like her head would have exploded had this really happened. But
I got better.
Plot armor is strong with this one.
Do you guys have any plans to finish this series for a future discussion, or is it just let it die?
We don't have to ever talk about it again. I plan on
I'm fine with that.
Writing some stuff on it recording some stuff on it because I want people to avoid this. I don't usually say that. There's no reason that anyone should be watching this show.
Don't give us
what the fuck? Why would you say that there's no reason people should be watching the show?
They should watch it to make fun of it. That's it. There's no reason to watch it and enjoy it.
At best, you can watch it to pick up how not to write a show.
Yeah, if you want,
that's probably the best thing you can say about that.
Yeah, you could learn a lot from like how to not write a show by watching this. It's like I said before, it's comically bad.
Comically bad.
Yep, 100%.
It's probably. Like, I'm pretty sure Plan 9 from Outer Space has a better plot than this show. If y'all remember that movie.
If you remember the scoring on this fucking show, it was 3.4 out of 10.
Yeah. It's well deserved too. Like that's a little too high in my opinion. Let's see what season 1. Dude, season. So let me share this so everyone can see. And of course, it's just as
3.4 out of fucking 10, man.
It's just as good as you might expect.
And don't forget the GameSpot article.
Oh yeah.
No.
Let's look at that real quick. So why is this here? Jesus Christ. So GameSpot had an article. Where is it? Where'd it go? There it is. There you guys are. Netflix Resident Evil review, easily the best adaptation of a zombie franchise yet. How much was this person paid to write this?
Yes.
Now, in their defense, I will admit the Resident Evil movies were very much not in the canon of the games. Like people say, like the first movie is the closer you're gonna get. The rest of it, fan fiction. That's all those movies are.
So this is the main character, Jade. This is her as an adult, and she's just as insufferable as you might imagine.
More insufferable than you might imagine.
Outside of Sonic the Hedgehog and this plethora of animated shows, has any video game franchise been adapted into TV and movies more than Resident Evil? No, that's true. And this one still is really bad. It's an entirely new story, sure, but again, it doesn't. Like the show does this thing where it's trying to throw in as many video game monsters as it can, and then adding in some new stuff. Like, so she believes essentially that people are like, you could still reach people in their brain, like they're actual people still, but it rewires their brain, and we need to ride this out as long as we can because eventually it'll mutate and become less and less, and then people will become smarter again.
That ain't fucking happening. Yeah, it's a moment.
Yeah, but I do want to share the Rotten Tomatoes, because as you might imagine, it is the critics believe that it's 53%, but the audience took a big runny dump on this one.
Less than a fucking 5.
410 user reviews on here to 34 critics.
They probably had to pay those critics like hundreds of thousands of dollars to give it a 53%.
That is my fucking people. Less than a fucking 5.
The show's pretty bad. It's this bad. Like, I'm surprised it's this high. I don't know what people actually enjoy about it.
Here's one of the paragraphs from that GameSpot article later on. Is about halfway through. If, however, you're a stickler for canon and don't like when things diverge from the established plot at all, you might have some trouble with Netflix Resident Evil.
It's like, not even
no shit.
Yeah, it's not even about that though. And that's what these people don't realize is like it's just purely bad writing. It's not. I don't think it cannot be canon, but you at least need to write a good story, and they don't know how to.
This is the kind of fan fiction that Starr Sam would not like. Like, this is the fan fiction that has tainted her opinion on fan fiction.
Exactly. Just like to make fun of Morbius. Yeah, absolutely. Like you should watch these types of shows just to make fun of them. But I mean, you won't make it very long. Like, I think Herbs, you texted me or messaged me after like 5 minutes, and you were like, "This is insane." Like, what? It's if you don't have that reaction, I would be surprised, but.
I mean, like I was telling you in the past, like I sometimes listen to really trashy garbage audiobooks in my spare time. Just listening to how like, oh, I am the chosen one. I immediately know how to save the day. Right. And I have plot armor. Nothing bad happens. Like, okay, so I can take notes of how not to write that character, how to not write a character.
Zombie, like you're making me want to punch my screen right now. Stop it.
On the bright side, I can at least recommend some good like zombie fiction for you guys.
No,
Herbs is like, fuck.
Do you not like zombie fiction? Are you a mortalist, Herbs? I just love the look of I just give up.
Okay, get it. The shit that we have been watching right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The shit that we have been watching right now, and we're resorting to this. Throw it all in the fucking bin. Throw it in all the fucking trash. It's so goddamn bad. And I know there are people that agree with us on this. I know there are people that agree with us on this. It's so goddamn bad.
Is it just me, or did Herbs turn it up to 11 with his?
I think,
look at that face, dude.
I think he's a little broken. He's just like, there's no hope for the world. Everything's terrible. End it now. This show made Herbs a nihilist.
Yeah.
No, if you guys want to see, like, anyone wants to listen to a decent zombie like fiction story, I recommend the Mountain Man series.
The Mountain Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
let me pull up
heard of Mountain Man. Yeah.
It's really good. Let me pull up some info about that really quick. It's written by K.C. Blackmore.
It's been a long while, but the shit that's coming out just makes me want to. Cheers, fucking homies. Cheers.
And this is how Herbs became an alcoholic. But yeah, no, these books are so good. Like, it captures the whole like brutality of what a zombie apocalypse would be. The main character has to deal with the fact that he is alone, and like he is slowly going insane through that. But it's written by K.C. Blackmore. If you get the audiobooks, it's performed by R.C. Bray, and that guy has one hell of a voice for reading. Yeah. Okay. And in some of the books, they also include bloopers, and it's hilarious listening to him. He pronounces like garbage as garbage on accidents, and it's just fantastic.
Fucking Birdman. Oh, it's
is that funny Shags guy?
And you scared the damn shit out of me.
Yeah.
Shit.
What's up, Ryan? What's up, Bird?
All right,
Ryan Reaper from the Legion of Memers. What's up, brother? Hail.
Ryan Reaper. Hail.
But yeah, there's so many better things to watch than this goddamn show.
Than this one?
No. Resident Evil. There's so many better things. Like our show, The Midnight Oil.
Right?
Are you talking about Resident Evil? Because we've been talking about that for the past hour.
We've been talking about the past half hour.
Shit. It's some goddamn shit.
You can watch paint dry and feel more fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's for sure.
Hell, you could eat lead paint chips and be more fulfilled.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, just avoid Resident Evil. There's little to no reason to consume.
If you have nothing else to do and plenty of alcohol, go for it. If you don't have either of those, don't.
You're Shags Whisker, and you've got a great ass. Yeah. Oh my God. The COVID comment in the whole thing was just like it made me. It's like this is what they do. It's like they're putting this in there so people think, oh, it's so bad. The COVID was awful. It's not as bad as this virus though. Like, ugh.
Okay, Andy's back.
Andy. What's up, Andy?
Herbs had to leave for a bit there.
He's like, see ya, bye.
Oh, Lord.
What are we doing here?
I don't know much else to talk about, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you guys have anything to add.
I think I'm tapped out for Boys and Resident Evil.
Yeah, we pretty much covered it. It was, there was one thing I didn't add that I wanted to say about the Boys. Maeve and Butcher hooked up, and I wonder, is there a little Butcher brewing? That would certainly drive a wedge between her and her wife in the next season.
Well, I mean, in the comics, Maeve does have a kid.
Yeah, so maybe
that would be an interesting side plot. I have your kid, but she's like, oh no. That'd be an interesting plot point, actually.
Ryan, did you watch the whole show today? When he had commented, he was on episode 4 earlier today. Yeah, Black Wesker makes no sense. Just the Netflix. Yeah, it was just intentionally swapped. I don't understand the point.
I feel like it's also for the name of the actor too, because that Reddick is in a lot of good movies and shows and games, and then he's in this.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I'm feeling like 90% of their budget went into bribing him to show up for this series.
Yeah, it's so bad. Oh, you just saw the clips, right? Oh, who's I forget. It was one of the memers that was
Was that Insanity? Let me see.
No, it was someone from earlier, like on Twitter that had.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Homelander's writing is something that I'm impressed with as well. He's a very, very good villain. Very well written, very sympathetic. So
Oh, it was pretty. There was that funny scene in like early season 3 where where he visits Stormfront in the hospital, and she's like, "You're going to help us raise the master race." He's like, "Can you stop with the master race? Like, it's turning me off. I gotta go. I'm out."
Yeah. Wait, was it season 3 where he was visiting that shapeshifter guy?
That was season 2.
Oh, was it season 2? Okay.
And then that was just before he started hooking up with Stormfront.
Okay, yeah, all right. I don't know why I thought that was okay.
That was an awkward scene, like where it's like the big booby lady then turns into a fat guy.
Yeah,
like in a split second. It's like, sorry, I can't hold it for long. Is Herbs dead?
He might be.
He died of cringe.
They couldn't have cast a Homelander any better. Oh yeah, Anthony Starr is he's just has that character down. Like even if it's different from the comic book one, he still comes off as a perfect version of that character.
Yeah, and I'm not always a huge fan of when they drastically change from the source material, but when they do it in a way that's still good, like I'm fine with it. Like for The Boys, they have drastically changed it. They've improved on a lot of things. Even with Invincible on Amazon, they've improved on things. They've downgraded, like the character Amber. I hate her in the Invincible show. Or like Starship Troopers. That is a huge step away from the books.
Herbs said, "I'm here." This is him right now. He's on the side of the toilet bowl with one eye open, and he's like, "I'm here. I'm here."
Yeah, like Mr. said, he's saying like Black Noir was interesting. Like,
this is smoke. Dude, no, don't do it. That's the worst. You have a smoke when you're drunk, you're gonna come back spinning. I guess we're not doing duality tonight, guys.
I mean, we'll do duality, but it'll just be really funny watching Herbs try to do duality high and drunk. But Black Noir in the comics was just he's a clone. He was a clone of Homelander made to kill, he was used as like a last contingency against Homelander if he ever went wrong.
Right.
And then yada yada, he ends up killing Homelander, and then Butcher kills Black Noir at the end. Yep. Whereas in the show, he's a different character that actually has like a bit of backstory. Like that was a scene I wanted to bring up. I forgot about was the animated Animal Friends reenacting his past. I liked that. It was just so out of nowhere, and it was kind of funny. Yeah. And then as he's dying, the beaver's like, "Don't worry, Charles. You're gonna go see Jesus." I was like, "Are you sure?" Because he's done some fucked up shit.
Noir gets beat by an almond joy. Oh no, that's like his character is so The Boys. Like it was so well done. Herb says no duality is happening. Is it no comma duality is happening or no duality is happening? I don't know. Punctuation.
Nah, we'll bully him either way to do it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that's all I had left to say.
Well, here's what's gonna happen. This was a good episode. Herbs is still smoking. I don't necessarily want to go until he comes
quote
back.
Unquote smoking.
Right. But I dude, I have to I'm sitting here squirming in my chair. I have to go use the little boys' room.
Oh no.
Right. But we just so you guys know, whoever's here, we're live on YouTube and on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, when we end, please stick around. I am going to turn the stream on for some Destiny. So make sure you stick around. Oh, Andy, the sound alerts are not working right now. Okay,
no,
says no duality is happening. Okay, well, you say so.
Yeah. If you think so.
One sec. He goes, I will be back soon. Famous last Zombie said he was going to be back last night too, and then he went and took a shit and then fell asleep on his bed. So
that's exactly what happened. Yeah,
I guess he took a shit on his bed and then fell asleep.
No. I went to go take a shit, and then I came back. And I'm like, I am too fucking tired to play Destiny. I just went to bed.
You fucking too tired to play Destiny? Goddamn you, pussy!
Last night,
what? Last night?
Last night I was playing Destiny. I played like a round or two with Shags, and I took a break and I went to bed.
You know, I had power out last night.
Yeah, you did. No, you're acceptable.
Come on, shit.
And then I just sent you a bunch of like herbs. Wake up, get on Destiny.
He's definitely looking better. So I think maybe he did. He went down on the porcelain throne real quick, and now he's feeling good. He's ready for round 2. Let's fucking go, boys.
Yeah, fresh toilet water.
Listen, God, so this is gonna, unless anyone has anything to add about what we talked about tonight, I think it's a good place to call it good. And do you guys have anything else you want to add?
I'm good.
Okay. Sergeant Herbs, if you want, plug anything you'd like, talk about yourself.
Fucking hiccups.
I was about to say, you got the hiccups.
Yeah, so I stream on Twitch.
Links in the bio, by the way.
Yes, links in the bio. I stream on Twitch. I have some games that I play, rotating between Apex, Destiny, and
I think you also play Warzone. Yeah.
Don't interrupt me, zombie.
I was trying to be helpful because you look like you forgot.
It's too much fun. Anyways,
whiskey,
Warzone, Apex, and Destiny. I do rotate between those, and I do have some single-player games that I play as well. So there are some games that I play for fun. Herb's done kissing the porcelain throne. Shut up, Mr. Insanity. Okay, so I have some games that I play, yes.
The first time you said that.
Do you play games?
Yes, I play games.
There are some games Twitch. I play.
I play games on Twitch. Usually not when I'm drunk. Anyways, so I like to have fun. I do like to have fun. But anyway.
Have fun multi.
My mods are slow, so I'll shout you out.
Whoa, you play games?
Yes. Give Sergeant Herbs your follow. Please, please, please follow. Zombie, what do you got going on? Still playing horseshoes and gay grenades?
It is hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades.
The fucking VR game.
Same thing.
Me and Gibbons are planning on doing like a time trial in that game in the future, hopefully either this weekend or next, which is going to be pretty fun. Besides that, I'll probably just be streaming some more Destiny and eventually some single-player games. I have a few lined up. I want to either do a YouTube series on or just Twitch streams for.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice. And you guys are hopefully getting used to the schedule. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday we do streams over on YouTube starting at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. And Monday, Thursday, and if I can squeeze in a Sunday stream, we're playing video games over here on Twitch. We're slowly starting to phase some stuff out and make some changes to come over here to YouTube for the most part. We have some links down below if you feel like supporting the stream. We're making some changes for those who are supporting the show, whether it's on Ko-Fi or if you're a sub on Twitch. The best way to support is to just watch the channel, like our videos, share them. If you feel like blessing us with any sort of monetary support, we love that. It does keep us moving and moves me more toward a possible full-time content creating position, which I'm looking forward to doing.
Bless Shags. Absolute 100% bless Shags.
Thank you. But yeah, so guys, if you're over on Twitch or if you're on YouTube, head over to Twitch, twitch.tv/theshagsworth. If you're here on Twitch, stay, because we are going to end this stream and start up a Destiny stream and play some motherfucking Guardians.
Destiny.
Yes. But you guys have a great night. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys next week. I appreciate y'all. You've been great. We're out of here. Bye.
Good night, y'all.